When you work for others, you are at their mercy. They own your work. They own you. Your creative spirit is squashed. What keeps you in such positions is a fear of having to sink or swim on your own. Instead, you should have a greater fear of what will happen to you if you remain dependent on others for power. Your goal in every maneuver in life must be ownership. Work in the corner for yourself. When it's yours to lose. You're more motivated, more creative, more alive. The ultimate power in life is to be completely self-reliant, completely yourself. The most expensive thing we spend is time, because we can't get it back. Before I had money, when I'm poor, when I'm in the middle, when I'm rich, but regardless, I've been on each one of those portions of the journey. Right. I had fun. When we didn't have no money, it was fun.
It shifted. It's either when you get hurt that bad, either your fear consumes you or you become a bit insensitive and you start to approach the problem instead of running from it. You know, my grandfather told me, you don't get as far as the motherfucker you talk to for no reason. You'll be successful as the motherfucker that you talk to for no reason. What I mean is, if you spend your day talking to a nigga that ain't got nothing going on, what the kind of information can he offer you? Can he help you learn something? Can he teach you something in the conversation?
When lose is not an option, then you got to do everything possible to win. And I don't understand how they become complacent and feel like, oh, it's okay. You know, you get people that deal with things by not actually.
You ever seen a rich one start to fight? When don't well off, don't start to fight. He's having a good time. He's partying. They got battles, right? And then you start to fight, is not doing his work. Only just 3 niggas the picture. Got rich niggas, you got tough niggas that easily become collateral damage. Do you want to feel like you're afraid all the time? Or do you start to become the aggressor? And you start saying, you know what? You ain't gotta find me because I'm looking for you. And then it changes everything. Because at that point, I'm the person looking for you. Now, you don't give me all the controls because I got the buttons. I could just push them. Everyone is not actually going to be prepared to take the time to actually utilize the information that's given to them. If you pay attention and you actually keep whatever information is coming in front of you, that you choose what's valuable. But the things that you do hear that are valuable, if you make it your business to keep it, even if you have to write it down, so you have to say it to yourself or whatever, and you just keep, that the person says something and you go, what did you just say? One second, put it on my phone and hold on to it until it becomes a part of you in the way you actually would express yourself at different points. And then you develop a more advanced presentation, and I got that from Mark.
They don't care about me. Is it okay for me not to care about people that don't care about me? It would be entertaining for them to see me in crisis. Why would you you under the worst circumstances you could be?
I had to convince myself that I'm going to make it, you know, regardless of how people felt at that time. And what it does is it makes you feel like, well, it made me feel like there's going to be points that people are going to mistake my confidence for arrogance. They don't understand the process of it and how much I had to believe in myself in order to make these things happen.
I never ran from anything because I didn't have nobody to go to. I've always had that, where I'm going. Home to get me. Ain't nobody there. You know what I'm saying? I've always been in a situation where I'm forced to deal with it myself. So the most expensive thing we spend is time, because we can't get it back. Before I had money, when I'm poor, when I'm in the middle, when I'm rich, but regardless, I've been on each one of those portions of the journey. I had fun.
At each place?
When we didn't have no money, it was fun.
Almost 90% of the time, I'm communicating with people who achieved a higher level of education. Right? The college graduates. So if the information that you needed in the business classes if everything you needed was in the book, then the teacher would be too successful to teach the class.
Find something to fall in love with, something to be passionate about, right? And then because you enjoy it so much, you'll be able to do it so much that you become so good that everybody gonna love and appreciate you.
I think depression is a luxury, because where I'm from, you can't afford to be depressed. You gotta pay the bill, right? So you gotta go to work. You gotta get up. You gotta go do what you gotta do. They got people right now that's at work don't feel like being there, but they got responsibilities, so they feel uncomfortable while they're working, while they're doing what they gotta do.
As I grow older, the one thing that becomes clearer to me each and every day is that I don't owe anyone a thing, and neither do you. I've seen a lot of people pollute their potential after sipping from the well of entitlement. This is certainly true of many of the people I've been associated with over the years, even my own son. What they need to understand is that you should never feel like the world owes you anything. It doesn't. You must accept that it's all on you. That might seem like a very cynical way to view the world, but I would argue that it's actually liberating. You can only feel betrayal when you feel like you're owed something from someone. You can only feel resentment when you had expectations for assistance. When you accept that it's all on you, only then can you finally be free to focus 100% on being the best version of yourself. Either I'm going to get rich or I'm going to die in the process. I'm going to do what I want to do. And then if I die in the process, I'm just doing what I want to do. Get rich or die trying.
I don't try to patch relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause when they fall apart and you have no idea, like, what was the motivation? It says that you don't have to be involved for it to fall apart again.
I think the things you go through make you who you are. I don't regret those things. I don't regret them because I don't think I'd be who I am today if I wasn't exposed to those situations. If you ask me, would I, those are unfortunate situations that I've had to experience. And if I had a choice, I would have definitely went in a different direction. I might have wanted to go to school for business instead of having to go through this portion of my life. No matter what group of people, whether it's your actual blood relatives or people that you've developed relationships over time that created value. There's points where some of them develop a sense of entitlement, and it can't be. They get blinded by what you've done and they're consistently saying, look what you have, versus acknowledging what you've already done.
I come from hustling. That's what it was about. If there was no financial motivation connected to it, it wasn't about. Now the things that they're doing is a little different. Like the little homies tell you, you ain't got no bodies.
I think the only thing that separates people is passion. And having the ability to focus on something, to work on it, will allow you to work hard enough to be good enough. That's the Kobe Bryant work. He outworked. A lot of people in the league perform according to their paycheck. They ain't getting that money, let them do it. And that's what separates them and makes them special to us in a different way, even after he's gone.
It never happens on your time. When you think you're ready, it's supposed to happen. It always happens when it's supposed to happen. Because the period that you feel ready and people are not acknowledging the material the way you feel like they should because it's good, is the time that you actually develop skin thick enough to survive when it does work.
I wanted to bring everybody with me. So not be someone new, be a better version of what I already was, but like you want to do the same things. They want to shoot dice, they want to have the same argument, they want to do the same thing that we did that. You know what I mean? It's just circumstances, it puts you back under the same circumstances when you already moved to a different level.
I don't mind losing. I just like to lose at my expense. Let it be my fault. If I'm losing based on someone else's decision to do it, I'm furious. I was afraid and I was uncomfortable with being afraid.
I try not to surround myself with people that I have to be defensive around. You know, and that is a defense mechanism. Like anger is a more comfortable feeling to deal with than having your feelings be hurt, or a person did something, you being disappointed in their decision to do certain things. Like, you know, like some of these guys, they're gonna roll with anybody that will embrace them. Anybody that'll and just be in every circle, period. I'm like, I'm not really comfortable with that. Like imagine if you say, yo, my man is over here, Sean man over here at the Western, I'm gonna go pull up on him. And you go over there and then you run right into somebody who got a problem with you. And you all off balance because you weren't prepared to see Charlamagne, not prepared to run into these people. And then you have problems. That's why I don't usually communicate or associate. If a person's on the gate, I kind of put them on the other side. So I don't leave myself vulnerable to that.
You know, I had to convince myself that I'm going to make it. You know, regardless of how people felt at that time.
How much you feel like you're prepared for something, it never happens on your time, like when you think you're ready. It always happens when it's supposed to happen. Because the period that you feel ready and people are not acknowledging the material the way you feel like they should because it's good, is the time that you actually develop
skin thick enough to survive when it does work.
Look, there's going to be people unhappy with the success that you have regardless. You know, without knowing who you are, individuals could look and just judge you and say, I don't like that. He had that diamond goat on his neck. Why'd he put that there? You got to be a certain kind of person because he liked diamond. And then they can just assume that anything they would like to register negative, they can just register it negative. Some people, they have the trait of, like, let's say the person's across the street, they look at you, they don't like you across the street. Some people feel the need to go across the street to say, why, I'm a good person. I don't give a f. I genuinely don't give a f about how those people feel about me across the street because they don't care about me. Is it okay for me not to care about people that don't care about me? I mean, like, the simple things, like if you look and you go, it would be entertaining for them to see me in crisis. So if you saw that and you go, why would you care about a person who would like you to see under the worst circumstances?
I feel like you can will yourself into a good space. Things that are meant to happen will. And if you believe in yourself enough, you can help yourself learn. You can inspire yourself in different ways where you can actually discipline yourself, to the point that you can become good enough. Like from 97, like when I started writing, it was full time. Like every day I was writing music because I had no choice. If I was gonna stop hustling, then how was I gonna provide or continue the lifestyle that I created for my son's mom, my son, and myself? So I was ready in 97. And I didn't have a major record company marketing to promote my project till 2003. So for that time period, I had to run on my own energy. I had to convince myself that I'm gonna make it, regardless of how people felt at that time. And what it does is it makes you feel like, or it made me feel like, there's gonna be points that people are gonna mistake my confidence for arrogance because they don't understand the process of it.
Whether it's your actual blood relatives or people that you've developed relationships over time that created value. There's points where some of them develop a sense of entitlement and it can't be met. Like what they feel like they're entitled to, you can't really do that for them. They get blinded by what you've done and they consistently say, look what you have, versus acknowledging what you've already done or just what you've done for them personally. They'll look at it and still be like, but you have, they get into that thought process with, but you have so much based on your accomplishment. You just fall into the new rooms with new people and you accomplish so much that they'll minimize your accomplishments. They'll look and go, okay, I need to go to work. A lot of billionaires that are out there that aren't as notable. When you figure out how they did it, you go, like that. So,
are they willing to share with you?
Yeah, you got a moose on, you just like smooth. 2013, and I pull up at the light in a hoopty. I'm in a Dodge, 93 Dodge Caravan. I didn't wash it, and I'm telling you, roll the window down. You look over, and you don't roll your window down. He won't roll his window down. Take the same scenario, you put that guy in that Bentley at the light, and the guy pulls up next to him in a Ferrari and says, hey, roll the window down. He'll roll the window down. Because it was a choice. But he feels like you may have something to say of value to me just on presentation. Like I say this to younger actual, guys out there that to kind of fit the description. Like if I was going somewhere and it wasn't, I have to be conscious of it. I can't do the 3-piece when I'm there as 50 Cent. Because then the audience will look at you like their parents instead of the actual artist that they appreciate. But if you actually want to make the window roll down, you have to fit the description. Make those relationships, talk business, more courteous than 50 Cent.
When you see you go up, they'd like to see you come down. It's the artist community that does this. It's your fellow artists that does this to you. Because they look and they go, if you go up, if you stay up, then I'm going to have my shot. This is why they go, oh no, the first album's fire. You don't notice everybody's first album is fire? Why do you say that? They say that to every artist. They'll go Illmatic, they'll go Reasonable Doubt, they'll go Get Rich or Die Trying, Biggie, Ready to Die. All these albums, the first album. They'll pick that one and say that one was a classic. No matter what they do afterwards, they won't compare that material to that album. I try not to let things that affect me that I can't change.
Right.
You know, you can't change public reality. You see, at points you see the harshest things ever. You think the timing will just be, you just be in an emotional state where you can't really, you're not tough at the moment. Sensitive because you're not paying attention and you just publicly the person said about you. And it really bothers you that the person just said that, no matter who you are. You know, and I just don't allow that to create a new vulnerability, allow it to not matter. You know, you make investments in different things. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. More losses than wins, but when you do win, you win so big, it makes up for everything. You know, and that's been the journey, experiencing it when I shift to do things a different way. Like people look now and say they're feeling momentum of me in television now, right? But I started this 10 years ago. I lost you don't see my losses. Like it happens, you know, periodically. I don't usually see people excited leaving tables in Vegas if they didn't put chips on the table. Well, the most ruthless people that you run into are going to be people that are just focused and not necessarily taking your life into consideration while they're taking theirs. So it's like the district attorney's office. She wants the conviction so she can move up. Her career can be good. She'll give you 100 years. And you look and go, why so much? Like, why do you have to do that? And it was like, what? You did it. In her mind, it's her doing her job and her moving up to the next level, and she'll just knock you over. Come collateral damage. There's more ruthless people in the business world and in the street. You know, like they just have subtleties to their tactics, how they do things. It's not confrontational, you know, but they're doing it right in front of you. You know, how they're structuring the actual deal, things that they're doing. It's like just taking the money from you. Look, robbery, at least it will give you the courtesy of showing you the gun. So you can have those anxieties and feel those feelings that you would feel when you're being robbed. They'll do it on a piece of paper where you feel nothing. And just rob you right there. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's the same tactics with a different approach. And a lot of them, the people that do this comfortably, like handing the contract, the thing that they're not conditioned for is direct conflict. And that the circumstances I grew under absolutely have to be prepared for. Like the fighters, they look good after they have 8 weeks of training and they focus their mind for 8 weeks straight. You got 8 seconds in this fight. You got 8 seconds to adjust and do what you gotta do. But once you get, look, to entertain is to provoke emotions, right? So if the person doesn't love me, I'd like for them to hate me so I can mean enough to them, right? That would just mean that I meant enough for them to have feelings for me. Because if you don't like me, then I don't matter. I wouldn't even exist to you if you don't hate me. At least let me get that energy out of you. It's okay as long as you care enough about it to have feelings. Because that's what it is to entertain.
I think the things you go through make you who you are. So I don't regret those things. I don't regret them because I don't think I'd be who I am today if I wasn't exposed to those situations. If you ask me, those are unfortunate situations that I've had to experience. If I had a choice, I would have definitely went in a different direction. But under those circumstances, when you're in an environment where you meet aggression with aggression, or you're deemed weak, and the weak becomes the prey, you gotta kind of back people off you. And when you're willing to go as far as further than the other guy, you always prevail.